Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Grace Atwell, and for my InfoScience 1010 project, I did it on the ethics of fast fashion. So I was inspired to do it after I saw a documentary called The True Cost my senior year of high school for a class. And what it talks about is basically the forming of a fast fashion society, which is where clothing brands and textile companies are beginning to have 52 seasons a year instead of the typical autumn, winter, spring, and summer seasons. They're having one every week to try to compete with demands of consumers. And what it's leading to is massive maltreatment of company workers, huge environmental waste, and obviously massive landfills of clothing, massive clothing waste. And some of the statistics they have is that the average American throws away over 82 pounds of clothing a year, and that 1 out of every 10 pieces of clothing that we end up donating to thrift stores or other secondhand stores, 9 of those end up in landfills. So what I started with was my quantitative data, which I did through the microbit. And what I asked was, do you think that shopping fast fashion stores is unethical? And just a basic rundown of my code was A, if yes, I think it's unethical to shop fast fashion clothing brands. B, no, I don't think it's unethical to shop fast fashion clothing brands. Or A and B, I don't know enough about this to have an opinion. And what I found was actually kind of surprising. Over 1/3 of the people I talked to didn't know what fast fashion was. They were confused on what kind of a brand that would be, which is typically something like Target, Old Navy, Walmart, things that have constant influx of clothing. But what I was not surprised to find was that 47.1, which is almost half of the people I talked to, didn't think that it was, or thought that it was unethical. So where I went from there in my qualitative data was talking to people or asking people questions through a Google survey, just to see what they were currently wearing, to see how many people were shopping secondhand versus shopping fast fashion. So I asked, are you currently wearing an article of clothing purchased from a fast fashion store like Target, Forever 21, H&M? And I was a little surprised to find that only 26 out of the 50 people I talked to were wearing fast fashion, which I guess is a good thing for my project. But I was surprised to find that 19 of those people were also wearing 19 of the 50 people I talked to were also wearing secondhand clothing, like from a thrift store or from a hand-me-down, which is also a good thing for my project, but we're also in Boulder. So where I went from there was written responses, where I would ask them questions like, the first one was, what would hold you back from shopping sustainably or shopping secondhand? And the 3 main points I got were, first, money. It's really expensive to shop secondhand. The second one was convenience. It's so much easier to shop at H&M or Target or other local big retailers than it is to find something that's sustainable or to go to stores that are out of the way. And the final one was quality or confusion. People like things that they can depend on. They liked being able to find things that were going to last them a while or that weren't worn out. And then finally, for people that answered they didn't think it was unethical to shop fast fashion, I asked them why. And the biggest one was that they didn't think it was important, or they weren't sure why it would be unethical. So many of the responses I got were, it doesn't matter, why would it matter, or I haven't heard anything about it before. And then the second biggest one I got was money-wise. A lot of people thought that it was almost more ethical to shop big brands because it was such an affordance to not. For low-income families or people like college students that still need to dress well but that can't afford to shop at sustainable brands, it makes more sense. So in conclusion, what I found were 2 main points. First off, I think the debate on fast fashion ethics is still really new. A lot of people I talked to didn't quite know what it was, or even if they did know what it was, they didn't know where they stood on it quite yet. So I think it's still a very new topic that people are going to begin to hear more of. And finally, I thought that money and accessibility played the 2 biggest factors into fast fashion. Being able to afford sustainable clothing and being able to find sustainable clothing conveniently would dramatically change the clothing industry. Thank you.